Hello again. These videos have suggested that the last 10 years have not been an unmitigated economic success, unlike what you read in the mainstream media. The next government has a number of challenges, yet a number of readers will need more persuasion that all is not well. One measure of continuing distress is the spending on the Rural Employment Guarantee, which is NREGA. This is backbreaking work, which people do when they have no alternative. It is an income source of last resort, so to speak. Both the spending on this program and person days, that is the number of people times the number of days that they were paid for, went up hugely during the pandemic in fiscal year 2021, as urban migrants went back home to rural areas and look for work there. Unfortunately, extrapolating the partial year data for 2024, spending has gone up again in fiscal year 2024, as have the number of person days of employment. Even today, the number of worker days availed of have not fallen to pre-pandemic levels, despite the center holding back NREGA funds to some states. This is more evidence for distressed employment for those who worry that we haven't got all the facts. Another place distress shows up is in schooling attainments. The recent annual status of education report makes for depressing reading. Because of the damage done by the pandemic, the share of Standard 3 children who can read at Standard 2 levels has fallen below 2012 levels. In fact, it's only 20.5%. It was never very high to speak of, but at least we were improving, and now all the improvement we've seen over the last decade has fallen off. We see a similar problem in maths. There is a decline in students in Standard 3 who can do subtraction. The level is again now below the levels in 2012. It used to be that poor people scraped together enough money to put their children in private schools so that they could get a better education than one they got in the free government school. Post-pandemic, however, enrollment in free government schools has increased because the poor cannot access fee-demanding private schools anymore. Yet another example of distress. Unless we take steps to offer these children remedial education, many will drop out of school because they do not understand what is going on in class. Today's Standard 3 children will be our workers in 2047. How can India become a developed nation at that time if so many of its then workers have not completed schooling? Education is a concurrent subject, which means the center has a role. Central education spending has not gone up in percentage terms in the recent budget. The next government must help address the possible developing disaster in education, especially for the COVID-affected student cohorts in our poorer states. That is a critical challenge.